Someone tried to use your life to feed their ego, and God just flipped the script on them. Chosen one, don't scroll. If you're hearing this, it's no accident. Heaven is speaking directly to you, and what they meant for their pride, God has turned into their humbling. They thought your life would serve as proof that they were ahead, that they were doing better, that you were stuck. But instead of finding ashes, they found glory. The fire they thought would destroy you has refined you. The storm they mocked became the wind that lifted you higher. I know you felt it, the sting of being underestimated, the ache of realizing that some people only kept you around to feel better about themselves. You've been there. People misread your quiet strength as weakness, your patience as passivity, and your kindness as naivety. They never understood that you are not their competition. They were never meant to compare themselves to you, and now their mistake is staring them in the face. They thought they could use you as a mirror for their ego, but they've only been confronted with their own reflection. What they didn't know is that you've always been in the process of being refined by God. While they rushed to be seen, heaven was teaching you how to stand. You weren't behind, you were hidden. You weren't irrelevant, you were being prepared. And now, as your season of revealing has come, they can't deny the light that surrounds you. They thought you were stuck. They thought you were forgotten. But God's hand has always been on you, and now they can't explain how you keep shining. Here's the truth. People who mock others for being behind are usually the ones terrified of being left behind themselves. They see your growth, and it exposes the illusion of their own progress. They fear your success because it highlights their own insecurities. But now they're crumbling in silence, as the one they underestimated has become undeniable. That's what just happened. God flipped the script. Your rise wasn't to prove them wrong, it was to show heaven's glory. And now, I want you to keep listening, because I'm about to show you why their downfall was never about your success. It was always about God's justice, and how He uses your life as a testimony to silence their pride. This wasn't about humiliation, it was about revelation. Before we dive deeper, I want to thank every soul who's part of this community, every one of you who likes, shares, prays, and spreads these messages of light. You're not just an audience, you're part of a divine movement that's awakening hearts everywhere. Now, take a deep breath and let this truth sink in. They tried to use your life to feed their ego, but God used your endurance to feed their humility. Let me ask you this. What if every person who tried to dim your light was actually sent to witness your awakening? Stay with me. The tables have already turned. God's chosen ones. Someone tried to use your life for ego and got humbled. Here's why. You may have wondered why the world seemed to be watching you, waiting for you to fall. The person who once laughed at your setbacks, who took pleasure in your struggles, is now finding themselves in a place of silence. They used your lows to build their egos, but what they failed to realize is that you were never their comparison. You were the storm they never saw coming, quietly building strength while they rested on their assumptions. And now, as they scroll through your success, they're finding it impossible to deny. They underestimated you. At one point, they might have thought your life was just a footstool for their pride, an opportunity for them to feel superior. But the truth is, you were never meant to be their stepping stone. You were meant to rise, even when they thought you were buried. Isaiah 40:31 says, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." This promise was unfolding in your life all along. When they saw your silence, they saw weakness. What they didn't understand is that silence, when embraced with faith, can be sacred. It's where real growth happens. They thought you were done. Maybe they saw you retreating into the quiet. Maybe life hit you hard. But what they didn't see was that your quietness was not a defeat. Your quietness was the building of something greater. You were gathering strength, wisdom, and resilience. And the moment they expected you to crumble, you rose. And worst of all, for them, they saw you glowing. You didn't just come back, you came back better. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. They thought they saw the end, but what they were witnessing was just the beginning of your divine transformation. You weren't in a battle with them, chosen one. You were focused on your own lane, healing, growing, and preparing for what God has called you to. They couldn't understand that. They thought your setbacks were their opportunity, but you were never their competitor. You were always running your own race. Hebrews 12:1 reminds us, "Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us." Their ego needed you beneath them, but your purpose demanded that you rise above them. They built their false confidence on your struggles, thinking that their pride was the foundation of their victory. But now, with nothing left to cling to, their pride is crumbling. They've been exposed to the truth that you were never meant to stay down, that your worth was never defined by their judgment or comparison. And now, in the silence that once defined you, they see your strength, your focus, and your undeniable progress. They see the version of you they thought would never exist, but the version of you they can't compete with. Psalm 75:7 says, "It is God who judges. He brings one down, he exalts another." And here's the real truth. You didn't even notice them. Their jealousy, their attempts to diminish you, they all failed because you were never in this for their approval. You were in this for your own divine calling. You were too focused on your own growth, healing, and journey to waste energy on their egos. This is what breaks those who depend on comparison and validation from others. When you don't even know you're being watched, when you don't even acknowledge their existence because you're so rooted in your own purpose, that's when they can no longer compete. Proverbs 16:18 says, "Pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall." You see, their pride was built on the lie that you were beneath them, that your failure could somehow validate their success. But God used your silence, your pain, your quiet healing, to build something they couldn't even understand. You were never beneath them. You were the one who was truly being elevated in God's timing. Their ego was humbled when they saw that your setbacks were only setups for your comeback. Now, they avoid your presence, stay away from your success, because they can't bear the reminder of what they once thought was their superiority. Every time they see you, they're not just seeing you, they're seeing the destruction of their own false narrative. They can no longer deny that your success wasn't just the result of your efforts, it was the favor of God on your life. The same God who watched over your silence, watched over your tears, and watched over your quiet battles, is now the God who's lifting you higher than they ever imagined. You weren't just a tool for their ego, you were and are the vessel of God's purpose. Now they can see it too. Every time they try to minimize you, to make you small in their eyes, they fail to see that the more they try to push you down, the higher God is lifting you. And the best part? You didn't even need to fight back. You simply let God do the work. You were focused on His will for your life, and He made sure that when the time came, you would rise above it all. This is the truth, chosen one. You don't need to fight back against those who use you, belittle you, or try to make themselves feel superior by comparing themselves to you. You don't need to lower yourself to their level. Instead, keep walking in your purpose, stay focused on your journey, and trust that God is watching. He is writing your story in a way that will speak to generations. And as for those who used you, they'll see that their attempts to use you for their ego only led to their own humility. Psalm 118:6 reminds us, "The Lord is with me. I will not be afraid. What can mere mortals do to me?" Continue shining, chosen one. Your victory isn't about showing them they were wrong. It's about showing the world that God's favor is on your life. Let them watch. Let them see your rise. because your success is a testimony of God's grace, favor, and divine timing. You are not just living for yourself, you're living to honor the one who called you, and he will continue to elevate you, no matter who tries to hold you down. Your journey has been written by heaven, chosen one, and no one can erase it. Keep walking in faith, because the best is yet to come. The thing about a true chosen one is that they don't have to scream for attention. Their presence alone speaks volumes. You didn't need to prove your worth or respond to the insults, because you knew, deep down, that God had already written your victory. While they played in the shallow waters of ego and comparison, you were building your foundation in quiet faith and perseverance. You didn't even have to look in their direction because, from the start, your eyes were fixed on something far greater than their pettiness. What were they trying to prove by diminishing your journey? Did they think that your silence meant weakness, or that your quiet growth was proof of stagnation? Proverbs 3-5 tells us, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding." And you, chosen one, trusted in God's timing. When they tried to mock your journey, thinking you wouldn't make it, they were only revealing the cracks in their own facade. And now, as you rise quietly, steadily, purposefully, you've shown them something they can't ignore. Real strength isn't about being loud, it's about being steady. The deeper the roots, the taller the tree, and you've been growing beneath the surface while they stayed fixated on shallow grounds. They underestimated you, and in doing so, they sealed their own fate. Do you ever wonder why the people who tried to use you never saw your true potential? What did they miss when they laughed at your setbacks? It's because they weren't just competing with you, they were trying to compete with what they feared in themselves. Psalm 37-5 says, "Commit your way to the Lord, trust in him, and he will act." The universe keeps receipts, God keeps track. And everything that was once hidden, the struggles, the silent growth, the battles fought in private, has now been revealed as your testimony. What they thought was your failure is now your greatest strength. And in their arrogance, they failed to see the true value in humility and silence. Proverbs 16:18 warns, "Pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall." You didn't fall for their trap. You didn't bite the bait. You didn't react, because your victory was never about competing with them. It was about becoming the best version of yourself, walking in the purpose God has set for you. You didn't need to retaliate, because the power of your quiet resilience has already spoken louder than anything they could ever say. Romans 12:19 says, "Do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath, for it is written, 'It is mine to avenge, I will repay,' says the Lord." God is your defender, and when you stand in his favor, no one can take that away from you. What makes this even more powerful is that it wasn't just about the external victory, it was about your internal transformation. They thought you were weak, but what they failed to see was the strength that was being built inside of you, the resilience, the wisdom that would shape your destiny. They mocked your quiet healing, but it's through that quiet that God's power works its miracles. You didn't need anyone's applause. You didn't need the world to recognize your growth, because you were walking in the truth of who you are, a child of God, chosen and called for greatness. Isaiah 40:31 says, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." This is the strength you've been building all along, the strength that isn't seen at first, but one day it will be undeniable. They wanted to see you fail, but you were quietly working on becoming everything God had called you to be. And now that they see you rising, it's too late for them to stop it. They can no longer pretend you are the one who was left behind. What does it feel like to stand before them now, to realize that your quiet victory has shaken everything they thought they knew about you? Your success is no longer measured by their standards, because you've broken free from the comparison trap. You've broken free from the ego-driven competition that they tried to impose on you. You were never their pawn, chosen one. You were always the one who was meant to rise. The fact that they can no longer see you as the person they once mocked is what truly burns them. You didn't rise in defiance of them, you rose in defiance of the limitations they tried to place on you. You didn't even notice their jealousy, because your focus was on the life God called you to live. This is the moment they realized they were never competing with you. They were competing with themselves. And in that competition, they lost. Philippians 4:13 reminds us, I can do all this through him who gives me strength. And you didn't do this on your own. You did it because God was with you every step of the way, shaping you in secret, preparing you for this moment. Your victory isn't just a reflection of your strength, it's a reflection of God's unwavering presence in your life. Now that you've risen, they're left grappling with the reality of their own shortcomings. They used to find comfort in your struggle, but now they have to face the fact that your success is a reflection of their insecurities. They will continue to try and measure themselves against you, but they'll never understand what it took to get to where you are. They'll never understand that your progress wasn't just about overcoming them, it was about overcoming yourself, your own fears, doubts, and limitations. You, chosen one, didn't just make it out. You made it through stronger, wiser, and more resilient. And now, as they try to look away from the truth of your success, you can rest in the knowledge that you didn't just win the game they tried to set up for you, you've already completed the race. 2 Timothy 4:7 says, I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith. This isn't just about them, it's about you. It's about your journey, your growth, and your quiet victories. You are not here to compete with anyone else. You are here to walk in the purpose that God has designed for you, and as you continue to rise, you will shine a light for others to follow. They may have tried to use your life to fuel their ego, but they didn't realize that you were the one being used by God for something far greater. You were never their pawn, chosen one. You were always the one who was meant to rise. Now, go forward, not with pride, but with peace, not with bitterness, but with love. You've proven to yourself and to the world that your strength is not measured by the world's standards, but by the divine calling on your life. Keep walking in your lane, chosen one, because the world is watching, and you are about to be revealed in ways you can't yet imagine. But here's the truth, chosen one, you were never meant to stay down. They mistook your quietness for weakness, and they misjudged your silence as defeat. But what they failed to recognize was that you were simply in a season of preparation, a season of growth. And now, as you rise, they're left in shock, unable to comprehend how you transformed from the person they once tried to break into someone who radiates strength and resilience. They tried to measure your worth by your past struggles, but they never understood that you were always on your way to something far greater. You see, in their desperate need to feel superior, they forgot one powerful truth. God is the ultimate author of your story. And no matter how hard they tried to write your ending, He had already written a victory for you. Just as Isaiah 60:1 says, Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. This verse isn't just a nice sentiment, it's a divine command. Your light, chosen one, was always meant to shine. No one could hold it down, and no one could diminish it. They may have tried, but they underestimated the power of God's timing and the strength He's been building in you. And when they kept checking back, hoping to see your demise, they were only feeding their own insecurities. They never anticipated that you would rise from the ashes like a phoenix, more powerful and more certain of who you are in Christ. You weren't just surviving, you were being refined in the fire. 1 Peter 1:7 tells us, These have come so that the proven genuineness of your faith, of greater worth than gold, which perishes, even though refined by fire, may result in praise, glory, and honor when Jesus Christ is revealed. The trials you faced weren't just to hurt you, they were shaping you into the person you are today. And those who once watched you struggle have now witnessed your triumph. But why? Why were you the one who was chosen to go through the fire, only to come out stronger? The answer lies in your purpose. Your life, your journey, was never meant to be their playground. You were always destined for greatness. You were always meant to rise above the pettiness, above the ego-driven competition, above the comparisons. And the more they tried to hold you back, the more God worked in you, sharpening you, molding you, until the moment came when you stood in front of them, not as the person they mocked, but as the person they would now have to respect. Romans 8:37 reminds us, "No, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. And you, chosen one, have conquered." They tried to use your life as a mirror for their insecurities. But in the end, you became the reflection of strength and resilience they could no longer ignore. You became the very thing they feared, proof that no matter how dark the night, the dawn always comes. Their illusion of superiority collapsed because they built it on a lie. They built it on the assumption that you were beneath them. But in reality, it was always their pride that kept them from seeing the truth that God had chosen you, and you were never their competition. You were the one being groomed for greatness, while they stayed stuck in their ego-driven game. Proverbs 16:18 says, "Pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall." And their pride, their haughtiness, led to their downfall. They didn't see it coming, but you, chosen one, did. You stayed focused, you stayed humble. And even when they tried to make you the punchline of their jokes, you stayed quiet and let God fight your battles for you. When you didn't retaliate, when you didn't rise to their bait, when you didn't let their negativity shape your self-worth, you won. Psalm 34:17 tells us, "The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears them. He delivers them from all their troubles." And that's exactly what he did for you. And here's the kicker, you never had to fight their fight. You never had to play their game. Their obsession with your struggle, their desperate need to see you fail, was always rooted in their fear of your potential. They feared the power you carry in silence. They feared the strength you wielded when you didn't need to prove anything to anyone. But 2 Corinthians 12:9 tells us, "But he said to me, 'My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me.'" In your quiet moments of struggle, you were not weak, you were being strengthened by God. And now, the power of that grace is evident for all to see. You didn't need to take revenge. You didn't need to expose them. You didn't even need to acknowledge their attempts to undermine you. Matthew 5:44 tells us, "But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you." You trusted in God's timing, in his justice, and now they are left to confront the reality of their own insecurities and brokenness. You are the one who emerged victorious, not because of your strength alone, but because you were walking in alignment with God's will. Now, as you stand taller than ever before, you may wonder what comes next. You've gone through the fire, and now you're glowing with the light that only God can give. The path ahead is yours to walk, but remember this, you will never walk it alone. God has been with you every step of the way, and he will continue to be with you as you move forward into the next season of your life. You may have felt overlooked, misunderstood, or even mocked, but know this, God is preparing you for something greater. And now, you are untouchable because your strength, your growth, your victory are grounded in him. As you continue to rise, you'll continue to shine, and the world will see the proof of what God has been doing in your life all along. You weren't just surviving, you were being transformed. You weren't just enduring, you were being prepared. And now the time has come for you to step into the full expression of who God has called you to be. Remember, chosen one, you are not their pawn, you are not their mirror. You are a child of the Most High God, and he has ordained your victory. You don't need to prove anything to anyone anymore. The world will see your light, and they will know who you are. They never saw it coming. The person they thought would always remain small, unnoticed, and defeated is now the one setting the standard. The one they used to mock and belittle is now a living testament to strength, transformation, and divine timing. You were never meant to stay stuck in their narrative of failure. You were always meant to rise, And that rise wasn't just about success, it was about the shift in your spirit, the renewal of your mind, and the powerful demonstration that God's timing is never delayed. You were planted, not buried, and in the soil of your trials, you grew into something magnificent. And that growth, the way you evolved, quietly and powerfully, wasn't just unexpected to them. It was a direct blow to their fragile sense of control and superiority. Isaiah 61:3 reminds us that God gives us beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, and a garment of praise instead of a spirit of despair. Every moment they thought you were suffering was a moment of quiet preparation. While they basked in their pride, blind to their own flaws, you were being refined in the silence, growing stronger, wiser, and more resilient. They built their identities on your struggle, thinking your pain would define you. But your pain was only the beginning of your purpose. Have you ever wondered why someone would go so far to place themselves in competition with your journey? Why was their sense of worth tied to your perceived failures? Romans 8:31 reminds us that if God is for us, who can be against us? You weren't their competition, but in their insecure minds, they created a battle where there was none. They wanted to see you broken because, in doing so, they could temporarily feel superior. But they failed to realize that their sense of security was based on a lie, the lie that you would stay stuck while they climbed. The truth is, their view of you was never rooted in your reality. It was rooted in their perception, their desperate need to feel better about themselves. What they didn't know is that your quiet seasons were the very foundation of your greatness. Psalm 1-3 speaks to this, saying that the righteous are like trees planted by streams of water, which yield their fruit in season, and whose leaves do not wither. You were planted in places that others couldn't see, nurtured by God's hand and strengthened by His love. And now, when they look at you, they see the fruit of those hidden seasons. They see the person who didn't just survive, but thrived. Your strength didn't come from their recognition or approval. It came from the intimate moments you spent with God, the silent prayers that carried you, and the unwavering belief that your life had purpose. Their downfall wasn't a result of your success, it was a result of their own insecurity and pride. They tried to measure themselves against you, but they didn't realize that you were never in competition with them. Proverbs 16:18 warns us that pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall. While they focused on your perceived weaknesses, they ignored the very weaknesses within themselves, their need for validation, their inability to see beyond their own ego. They wanted to see you crumble, to see you stuck, but what they didn't realize was that their projections of your failure were the very things they couldn't overcome within themselves. And now, as you rise steadily, silently, and powerfully, they are left to face the uncomfortable truth that they were never your competition. You weren't playing their game, you weren't trying to outdo them, and you weren't trying to win. You were simply focused on becoming the person God always intended you to be. And that, chosen one, is what humbled them. Not your success, but your ability to walk your own path without needing to prove anything to anyone. Matthew 23:12 reminds us, "Whoever exalts himself will be humbled, and whoever humbles himself will be exalted." Your rise was never about showing them they were wrong. It was about showing yourself that you were stronger than they ever gave you credit for. You didn't need to rub it in their faces. Your actions spoke louder than words ever could, and in doing so, you became a mirror, not for them to measure their worth, but for them to confront the very insecurities that kept them from seeing your true value. You were the one they mocked, the one they thought would never make it, and yet here you are, more powerful, more grounded, and more aligned with your purpose than ever before. Now, as they sit with the consequences of their actions, they're left to reflect. What they thought would bury you has only made you bloom. What they assumed would destroy you has only refined you. And as they look at you, they have no choice but to face the truth that your journey was never about their validation. It was about God's timing, God's purpose, and your unwavering faith in the process. Galatians 6-9 encourages us, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." In this season, as they struggle to reconcile the person they once thought would be their downfall with the person you've become, remember this: you were always meant to rise above the noise. You were always meant to rise above their mockery, their judgments, and their comparisons. And in doing so, you didn't just win. You won in the most powerful way possible by remaining true to yourself, by keeping your eyes on your purpose, and by allowing God to shape your destiny. What they didn't understand was that your quiet victory, your humble rise, would be the most profound lesson they would ever learn. Romans 12:21 tells us, "Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good." You didn't need to fight them with the same energy they used against you. Your victory was built on a foundation of resilience, grace, and the quiet power of someone who knows they are chosen by God. And that, chosen one, is why you will continue to rise while they are left to grapple with the reality of their own shortcomings. Now, as you stand taller than ever before, know this: you've already won. Isaiah 40:31 promises us, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint." This is your season to soar. Your rise is not just for you, it's a testament to the power of God's love and the strength of your faith. You were never meant to stay small. You were always meant to shine. You see, chosen one, when you rise quietly, it's not a sign of weakness. It's a profound strength that the world often overlooks. While they were busy expecting a crash, a meltdown, or an explosive breakdown that they could point to and say, "I told you so," you were quietly planting the seeds of your future. Each decision, every step forward, every tear that was wiped away in the stillness, built you into someone the world could no longer ignore. You didn't announce your growth, you didn't flaunt your journey, but like the mighty oak that grows from a tiny acorn, you transformed in the quiet spaces where no one was watching. And now, your presence alone shatters their narrative. Psalm 23:5 tells us that, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies." This is exactly what is happening. While they were waiting for you to fail, God was preparing a feast of success, blessings, and favor right in front of them. They wanted to witness your collapse. Instead, they are now watching in disbelief as you rise. What they didn't realize is that your growth wasn't dependent on their validation. It wasn't loud, but it was undeniably real. Your quiet elevation, your steady healing, your silent growth spoke louder than all the noise they tried to make about you. And why does it burn them so deeply? Because they never thought you would rise without their permission. They thought they could dictate your journey, control your narrative. They thought they could use your struggle as a measure of their superiority. But Isaiah 40:31 reminds us, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint." You've soared on wings like an eagle, quietly, confidently, without waiting for their applause. And now that you're soaring, they are left wondering how you did it without ever making a sound. They can't figure it out. They expected the noise, the drama, the breakdowns, but instead, they got something far more powerful: your quiet resilience. They tried to feed off your struggles, but they didn't realize that your silence wasn't weakness, it was the preparation of something far greater. You've proven that real power isn't about making a scene. It's about standing firm in the quiet, doing the work, and letting the results speak for themselves. Proverbs 12:23 says, "The prudent keep their knowledge to themselves, but a fool's heart blurts out folly." You were prudent in your silence, and your wisdom was evident in your growth. What they didn't see were the long nights when you doubted yourself. They didn't see the times when you cried alone, healed in solitude, and put in the work when no one was watching. They thought the lack of noise meant the lack of progress, and yet you've shown them that the loudest growth often happens in the quietest spaces. And now, when they look at you, they can't deny it. They wanted to see you fail. They wanted to celebrate your fall. But instead, they've had to sit back and watch you bloom in ways they couldn't have imagined. 2 Corinthians 4:16-18 reminds us that, "Therefore we do not lose heart. Though outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day. For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all." Your journey wasn't about flashy victories or moments of public recognition. It was about the quiet, unseen moments that led to this point, the moments that were preparing you for the breakthrough. And now, as they sit back and watch you rise, they are left to face the truth. They never truly understood the depth of your strength. You weren't waiting for their approval, and you didn't need their validation. You simply kept walking, one step at a time, with quiet confidence, knowing that God's timing and purpose were greater than anything they could have imagined. Romans 8:28 assures us that, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." So let them wonder. Let them try to make sense of your quiet rise. You're not here to explain yourself or to make them understand. You're here to fulfill the purpose that God has placed on your life. And as you continue to rise, not with noise, but with grace and purpose, you will continue to show them that true strength isn't about competition or comparison. It's about knowing who you are, where you're going, and walking in the fullness of God's plan for your life. In the end, it wasn't their ego that defined you. It was your quiet resilience, your steady focus, your unwavering trust in God's plan. And that, chosen one, is what humbles them the most. They tried to use your struggles as fuel for their pride, but they failed to see the strength that was growing in you all along. And now, as they watch you rise, they're left to face the harsh reality. You were never their competition. You were always destined to rise on your own, with God by your side, doing the work in the silence and shining when it was time. So continue to walk in your lane with quiet confidence. Keep doing the work, keep growing, keep healing, keep moving forward. The world may have overlooked you in the past, but now they'll have no choice but to see the power of your quiet rise. Matthew 5:14-16 tells us, "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden, neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." Act to so. Your light is shining, and there's nothing anyone can do to dim it. Keep rising, chosen one. You are untouchable. You see, the chosen one, the beauty of your journey, is that it was never about keeping up with others. It was about being true to your path, even when they couldn't see it. When they judged your silence, they didn't understand that you were in the midst of a transformation, something deeper than any visible progress. You weren't losing, you were evolving. And that's what's so powerful. The world sees the surface. It sees the struggles, the quiet moments of reflection, and it assumes failure. But you were quietly recalibrating, preparing yourself for what they couldn't yet comprehend. Isaiah 40:31 reminds us, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint." Your strength wasn't gone. It was simply being renewed. Each hardship, each heartbreak was shaping you for the moment when you would rise stronger and wiser than ever before. The world didn't understand it, but in the eyes of heaven, your silence was sacred, a preparation for something greater. You weren't behind, you were building. They couldn't see the foundation being laid in the unseen. While they were focused on your missteps, your setbacks, and your moments of doubt, you were focused on your growth. Every mistake became a lesson. Every failure taught you resilience. Every setback fueled your determination. The world doesn't know this, but in every loss, you found strength. In every scar, you found wisdom. Romans 5:3-4 tells us, "Not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance, character, and character, hope. Your perseverance was building your character, and in turn, your hope. You were moving forward in ways that they didn't have the capacity to understand. Imagine a rocket preparing for takeoff. For a long time, it sits still, engines quietly humming, smoke billowing beneath it. To the untrained eye, it looks like it's stuck, like it's not going anywhere. But in reality, it's aligning, preparing for something far greater than anyone can see. That's what your life was. They thought you were stuck, but in reality, you were aligning your trajectory. And now, as you've launched, they can't catch up. You weren't racing against them, you were racing towards your destiny. Philippians 3:13-1-4 says, "Brothers and sisters, I do not consider myself yet to have taken hold of it. But one thing I do, forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead, I press on toward the goal, to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus." You've let go of their distractions, and now you're running towards the calling that was always meant for you. Have you ever asked yourself why they judged you so harshly? Was it because they truly believed you couldn't make it, or because they were afraid of what your rise represented? You see, your growth challenged their excuses. Your bounce back shattered their predictions. When they saw you struggle, they believed that was the end of your story. But the truth is, you were never losing. You were leveling up in ways that scared them. They wanted to believe you were stuck because it made their own stagnation feel less significant. But what they didn't know is that God had something greater planned for you all along. Proverbs 16:18 says, "Pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall." They mocked your journey without knowing that each mockery was only accelerating your growth. Your rise was their wake-up call. Their judgment became the punchline, but your victory, the victory that they never saw coming, is the story that will outlast their small-mindedness. It's often said that people who talk the loudest are the ones most afraid of being exposed. And that's exactly what happened here. While they were busy watching you, critiquing you, and holding on to their false sense of superiority, you were in motion. You were climbing higher, building stronger, and becoming the person God always intended you to be. The scoreboard is now clear. They watched as you evolved, mocked as you overcame, and now they're left with the bitter reality that they were never in the race to begin with. You weren't competing with them. You were competing with the version of yourself that they thought would never rise. Romans 8:31 reminds us, "If God is for us, who can be against us?" When you walk in your divine purpose, there is no room for defeat, no room for comparison, no room for the judgments of others. You've already won. And as you continue to rise, they will see that their judgment was nothing more than an illusion, a mere distraction. You were never their competition. You were always walking your own path. And now, they will have no choice but to recognize that you were always ahead, always growing, always evolving, and always becoming the person God created you to be. Now, the chosen one, it's time to look ahead. Your progress wasn't just about proving them wrong, it was about proving to yourself what you're capable of. It's about honoring God in every step of your journey. As you rise, remember that every silent moment of growth was a step towards something greater. You didn't need to shout or flaunt your success. You simply kept moving forward, and in doing so, you proved that silence is powerful. Your quiet strength, your unwavering faith, and your perseverance will be the legacy you leave behind. And when all is said and done, it will be your quiet rise that echoes through the hearts of those who once doubted you. Keep walking, chosen one, because your journey is just beginning. Chosen one, as you continue on your journey, it's important to understand that your rise isn't just about personal growth. It's about the power of truth and how truth works its way to the surface, even when we try to bury it. You see, some people don't regret what they've done, they regret getting caught doing it. They believed their actions would go unnoticed, that the lies they told and the pain they caused would remain hidden behind their carefully crafted masks. But the truth always has a way of coming to light. What's happening right now, in the midst of their panic, is a reflection of their own deception. You were never the issue, they were. They tried to use you as a scapegoat, tried to convince themselves and others that you were the problem. But in their efforts to tear you down, they only exposed their own shortcomings. The same energy they once threw at you is now haunting them because the spotlight that once shone on you has turned on them. You were their mirror. They looked at you and saw everything they didn't like about themselves, but instead of confronting it, they projected their insecurities onto you. Matthew 7:3 says, "Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye?" They ignored their flaws and tried to use you as a distraction. They tried to call you fake, dramatic, even delusional. They built their own false narratives about you, all to avoid dealing with their own internal conflict. And now, they must face the reality of their own lies. The universe doesn't humiliate anyone just to destroy them. No, it humbles them to reveal the truth. 1 Peter 5-6 reminds us, "Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that he may lift you up in due time." The truth has a way of breaking through, like light in the darkness, exposing everything that was hidden. It doesn't destroy, it purifies. And now, the same people who tried to tear you down are facing the reality of what they tried to bury. They can no longer hide behind the mask they once wore. The worst kind of exposure is the one that happens within. Psalm 51:10 says, "Create in me a pure heart, O God, and renew a steadfast spirit within me." When they finally realized they were the villains in their own story, they could no longer escape the truth of their actions. The shame they tried to project onto you has come full circle. They painted a target on your back, believing they could destroy you. But in the end, that target has returned to them. The lies they told about you, the rumors they spread, it all turned on them. They are now the ones who must face the consequences of their actions, alone in the silence of their own minds. Proverbs 16:18 warns, "Pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall." It's a hard lesson for them to learn, but a necessary one. The more they tried to elevate themselves by belittling you, the deeper they dug their own hole. And now, as they sit in their isolation, as they face the truth they've been trying to avoid for so long, they must confront the reality that they were never in control. The universe has a way of making sure that those who attempt to use others for their own ego are the first to be humbled. You didn't need revenge, chosen one. The truth did all the work for you. They thought they were clever, trying to manipulate the narrative, trying to make themselves look superior while you were down. But what they failed to see is that your silence was your strength, your resilience was your power. They underestimated you. They thought you would stay down, but instead you rose. And when they tried to mock your rise, they ended up exposing their own insecurities. Romans 12:19 reminds us, "Do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath, for it is written, 'It is mine to avenge, I will repay,' says the Lord." You didn't need to fight back because God was already working behind the scenes. Their judgment of you, their attempts to belittle you, have now come back to haunt them. The reflection they once tried to project onto you is now glaring at them in the mirror. And they have no choice but to face the truth. They built their superiority on lies, on your struggle, on your silence. But now, they have to reckon with the fact that their insecurity was the very thing that caused their downfall. Galatians 6-7 reminds us, "Do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows." Now, as they sit with their regrets, you, chosen one, can rest in the knowledge that you never needed to play their game. You never needed to prove them wrong. Your rise, your growth, your quiet strength was the proof they couldn't ignore. You didn't need to scream your worth. You didn't need to defend your name. You let your actions speak for themselves. And now, they must live with the truth that they underestimated you. Remember, when someone tries to use your downfall for their own ego, their ego is the very thing that will eventually break them. Proverbs 11:2 says, "When pride comes, then comes disgrace, but with humility comes wisdom." The universe keeps receipts, and now they must face the truth of their own reflection. You were never the problem, you were always the answer. They tried to use you, and in doing so, they exposed themselves, and that is their downfall, chosen one. So, continue walking in your light. You don't need to look back, you don't need to say a word. Their silence, their guilt, will speak louder than anything you could ever say. And while they struggle to rebuild their ego, you will continue to rise, shining brighter than ever before. Keep trusting God, keep walking in His purpose for your life. Because when the truth is on your side, no one can take that away from you. Chosen one, have you ever wondered why your silence seemed to bother them more than your words ever could? Why did your peace, your calm, your refusal to react seem to shake their spirit to its core? It's because your stillness revealed their noise, your patience exposed their insecurity, your quiet strength showed them what true power looks like, and that's something ego can never imitate. They thought your life was their punchline, a story they could mock to make themselves feel taller. They watched from the sidelines, waiting for you to fail, waiting for you to prove them right. But when they looked again, they didn't find a broken version of you. They found someone renewed, refined, radiant. You didn't crumble beneath the weight of their mockery. You bloomed in spite of it. Isaiah 40:31 reminds us, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint." That's exactly what happened. You soared when they expected you to sink. And now they are left grappling with a truth they can't deny. You didn't just survive, you thrived. You didn't just heal, you evolved. And in that evolution, their ego took the hit of its life. They were ready to laugh at your downfall, ready to gossip about your failure. But how does one mock what has already risen above? How can they belittle what now stands beyond their reach? Their fake superiority couldn't withstand the weight of your transformation. You became the very proof that their judgments were hollow. Proverbs 11:2 declares, "When pride comes, then comes disgrace, but with humility comes wisdom." Their pride blinded them, and your humility dismantled them. They expected you to crumble publicly, but instead, their ego crumbled privately. The applause they once received for mocking you has now turned into a deafening silence, and in that silence, they've been forced to face themselves. Can you feel how powerful it is when you don't need to clap back, when your growth becomes your response? The universe itself took your side without you lifting a finger. Romans 12:19 says, "Do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath, for it is written, 'It is mine to avenge, I will repay,' says the Lord." And God did repay, through peace, through purpose, through your undeniable glow. They wanted you to fail so their pride could breathe, but your victory suffocated every lie they built about you. Now they're quiet. The same people who once mocked your name can't even say it without their voice trembling. Their ego took a public beating, not because you hit back, but because your light became too bright to deny. You didn't need revenge, you only needed time. And that's the irony they're choking on now. The one they underestimated is the one who has become untouchable. Have you ever noticed how the loudest critics often go silent when faced with truth? That's what's happening now. They can no longer gossip, they can only watch. They can no longer mock, they can only reflect. Psalm 23:5 says, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies." And that's exactly what has happened. You're dining at the table of peace while they wrestle with their own pride. You didn't just rise, chosen one, you transcended. Your quiet resilience spoke louder than any defense, any argument, any retaliation ever could. And as they sit with the emptiness of their own arrogance, your growth stands as living proof that divine justice is not loud, but it is always complete. So, when you look back, don't look with bitterness. Look with gratitude, because without their judgment, you may never have realized how strong your silence could be. You trigger transformation without trying. Chosen one, your very presence forces a shift in others. You didn't expose them with your words, but your energy alone revealed the truths they were desperate to avoid. You have a quiet power, one that doesn't need to scream for attention, and yet it reverberates with intensity in every room you enter. It's not because you've judged them, but because your life, your journey, your unshakable peace reflects back what they're trying to ignore. Your energy disrupts, chosen one, and it does so with divine precision. Imagine walking into a room and suddenly everything changes. People shift uncomfortably, look down, or fidget because your presence is unknowingly drawing out their deepest insecurities. Not because you've said a word to them, but because your very existence holds up a mirror they were never ready to face. You didn't choose to expose them, but your growth, your presence, and your authenticity forced them to see the parts of themselves they've been hiding from. Matthew 5:14 says, "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. This is who you are." You didn't ask to be seen or to shake things up, but your light shines too brightly to be ignored. Your life is a quiet disruption, a powerful force that brings truth to the surface. You don't need to correct anyone, yet you challenge their realities. You didn't walk into their world with a microphone or a message. No, your very life is the message. You carry transformation in your silence. The way you handle hardship, the way you move through life's storms without bitterness, it rattles them in ways words never could. You make them question their complacency, their choices, their comfort zones. You didn't even have to try. The way you carry yourself, your grace, your quiet strength, made them uncomfortable because it forced them to look at what they were hiding within. James 4:6 reminds us, "But he gives more grace." Therefore it says, "God opposes the proud but gives grace to the humble," and your humility, your steadfastness, your humility brings grace that they can't escape. They thought you were just another soft target, someone they could use for comparison, someone they could outgrow. They thought your quiet, reflective nature would make you an easy target for their projections and judgments. But as they watched you, day after day, moving forward, growing in strength and purpose, they were confronted with something they couldn't deny. You weren't who they thought you were. Your resilience shattered their illusions. Isaiah 55:8-9 tells us, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord." And here's the truth. They thought they had you all figured out. But what they didn't account for was God's way of working in your life. They didn't see the quiet transformation. They only saw what was on the surface, and when they looked closer, they saw power, purpose, and evolution. You're like a dusty old room that hasn't seen sunlight in years. They walked by, seeing nothing but a faint shadow of what was once there. But when you pull back the curtains, that's when the truth floods in. The dust that was once invisible is now unavoidable. That's the impact you have on people. You reveal things they'd rather not see. You show them the dirt they've been living with and covering up. And some can't handle that. Instead of facing it, they attack you, the light. They push you away, afraid to look at the truth you reflect. John 3:19 says, "This is the verdict. Light has come into the world, but people loved darkness instead of light because their deeds were evil." They weren't ready for your light, chosen one. But your light is undeniable, and whether they choose to face it or run from it, it will always shine. And here's the question that often echoes in your mind. Why do I keep triggering people who barely know me? The answer is simple, yet profound, because your vibration doesn't match their comfort zone. You represent something they're avoiding: growth, evolution, change. You are a walking reminder that life isn't meant to stay stagnant. People who are stuck in their own patterns, their own limited thinking, cannot handle the reflection you offer them. They don't want to see what you've become, because it forces them to acknowledge that they're still where they started. But you, chosen one, you walk with purpose. Your healing, your rise, is a challenge to those who've become comfortable with mediocrity, and that challenges their entire worldview. You didn't tell them to change. You didn't demand that they wake up. But now, they can't unsee the truth you reflect. The most dangerous kind of truth isn't the one that is shouted from the rooftops. It's the kind that is quietly embodied, lived out in action, and displayed in resilience. Matthew 7:24 says, "Therefore everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock." Your strength, chosen one, doesn't scream for attention. It builds, it grows, it rises in silence. And that is what confounds those who thought they had you figured out. You didn't try to be their mirror. You never set out to teach them. But in your quiet confidence and calm presence, you've done exactly that. Now, what's left for them to do? They can either rise with you or run from it. You didn't force them into change. You simply walked in your truth, and that truth has been enough to stir something deep within them. Let them run if they must, but never dim your light to make them feel comfortable. Let them wrestle with the truth they see in you. You, chosen one, are the embodiment of growth, of quiet strength, and of transformation. Keep walking, keep evolving, and let them see what they never expected. Your energy speaks louder than anything they can say about you. Let your presence continue to be the trigger for their own evolution. They can't use you anymore, and it hurts them more than they'll ever admit. For so long, chosen one, you were not their enemy. You were their ego's safety net. You weren't the villain in their story. You were the supporting role in their illusion of superiority. That's the twisted beauty of divine reversal. The very people who fed off your pain now have to watch your peace. They didn't hate you. They needed you beneath them. You were their proof that they were doing better, their emotional crutch when life humbled them. And now that you've healed, they're left limping through life with nothing left to lean on. Every time their own plans failed, they'd whisper your name like a comfort spell, "At least I'm not them." It was never about you. It was always about the hole they refused to heal. But your growth has taken away their favorite distraction. The day you stopped being their emotional scaffolding was the day their false confidence began to collapse. Psalm 118:8 says, "It is better to take refuge in the Lord than to trust in man." They trusted in your weakness to make them feel strong, and when you took refuge in God instead of their approval, the foundation of their ego cracked wide open. Your healing feels like betrayal to them because it reveals how much they depended on your pain to feel whole. You didn't wrong them. You just outgrew the version of you that made them feel tall. You became something they can't mock, can't manipulate, can't belittle. And now they're forced to confront the truth that your rise was never meant to hurt them, it was meant to free you. But freedom terrifies those who remain chained to comparison. Have you noticed how they avoid your name now? How does your very existence seem to irritate their spirit? It's because every time they see you, they're reminded of what growth actually looks like, and that reflection burns. Imagine a bully returning to the same playground where they once mocked others, expecting to relive the old days. But this time, the kid they tormented isn't sitting alone anymore, they're running the place. That's what your transformation has done. It's rewritten the hierarchy they built in their minds. The same page they used to check for comfort now fills them with discomfort. The victories that were meant for your healing now feel like personal attacks to them, not because you've become cruel, but because they've built their entire sense of purpose around your struggle. Proverbs 24:17-18 says, "Do not gloat when your enemy falls. Do not let your heart rejoice when they stumble, or the Lord will see and disapprove and turn his wrath away from them." You don't have to gloat, chosen one. You don't have to clap back or remind them of how wrong they were. Your growth is loud enough. Your glow-up preaches louder than any sermon could. You've learned that grace is greater than vindication, and yet their silence is its own confession. Because when they scroll through your life now, they see evidence not of luck, not of coincidence, but of divine orchestration. And maybe you've asked yourself quietly in the night, Why couldn't they just be happy for me? Because your success dismantled their illusion. Your glow didn't just strip them of superiority, it stripped them of purpose. For years, their comfort came from seeing you beneath them. When you rose, they lost their reference point. Their "I'm doing okay" was built on your past. But now, there's no one left to point down to. And when you can no longer use someone else's struggle to measure your worth, you're forced to face your own stagnation. You were never their rival, chosen one. You were their excuse. And now that excuse is gone. The truth is, they don't hate your happiness. They envy the peace that built it. You carry a serenity they can't fake, a glow they can't imitate, a faith they can't understand. John 8:32 declares, "Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." Your freedom from their approval revealed the prison they've been living in all along. Have you ever felt the shift the moment you stopped seeking validation and started walking on purpose? That's when the dynamic changed. You stopped feeding their ego with your pain, you stopped explaining your process, and suddenly they realized they had no more control. Your peace became their punishment. Your detachment exposed the dependency they once disguised as superiority. Romans 8:31 asks, "If God is for us, who can be against us?" That's the divine reversal happening now. They can't use you anymore because the favor of God has covered you. You've outgrown the role they cast you in, and now they must rewrite their own script without you in it. Let them sit in that silence. Let them fumble through the emptiness they created. You don't owe them access to the healed version of you. And yet, hold no bitterness, because the pain they feel now, the hollow ache of losing control, is the same pain that will one day lead them to their own awakening. Your detachment is not cruelty, it's divine mercy. You've stopped letting them drain you, and in doing so, you've given them the chance to face themselves. So rise higher, chosen one. Keep moving with peace. Don't apologize for your evolution. The same ones who used your weakness to stand taller will one day remember how your strength taught them humility. And though they may never say it out loud, deep down, they know you were never theirs to use. You were God's all along. Chosen one, you became their forced reflection not through vengeance, but through evolution. You didn't destroy them with words. You didn't drag their name through the mud. You didn't plot revenge behind closed doors. All you did was rise. You healed. You grew. You kept walking when they were hoping you'd crawl. And without even realizing it, you became the very mirror they'd been avoiding their whole lives. They didn't fall apart because of anything you did to them. They fell apart because your light illuminated everything they tried to keep hidden. That's the cruel beauty of divine justice. It doesn't require confrontation. It requires truth. You never set out to expose them, yet your existence became the exposure. Every step you took in grace revealed their bitterness. Every act of forgiveness revealed their resentment. Every layer of healing you embraced peeled back the layers of deception they had built around themselves. Luke 8:17 says, "For nothing is hidden that will not be disclosed, and nothing concealed that will not be known or brought out into the open." You didn't force this unveiling. Heaven did. The universe simply reflected the balance of your integrity against their pretense, and the difference was blinding. Now, they find themselves locked in a room with their own reflection. No distractions, no scapegoats, no crowd to applaud their performance. Just silence and truth. The same lies they told, the masks they wore, the manipulations they used, all of it has come crashing down, and there's no one left to blame. You were never their enemy. You were their awakening. And the irony? You were trying to heal, not to hurt. You were trying to move forward, not to expose. But truth doesn't need intention to reveal itself. It only needs light. John 1-5 reminds us, "The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it." That's what your life became, a light so steady that no shadow could hide in its glow. And maybe that's what terrifies them most. Because now, when they hear your name, something inside them stirs, not hatred, but recognition. They see the reflection of everything they could have been, everything they refuse to become. They're not angry at your success. They're haunted by what it reveals about their stagnation. Your rise didn't humiliate them. Their refusal to evolve did. Can you see the tragic poetry in that? The very thing they mocked, your patience, your silence, your healing, became the mirror that showed them their own decay. You became proof that humility triumphs over arrogance, that truth outlasts performance. Proverbs 12:19 says, "Truthful lips endure forever, but a lying tongue lasts only a moment." Every lie they spun about you has expired. Every rumor has returned home to its sender. You didn't have to lift a finger. You just had to keep walking in truth. Now, the echoes of their deceit haunt them louder than your silence ever could. Imagine them running from mirror to mirror, smashing each one, desperate to avoid seeing themselves. But there's always one reflection left standing, yours. Your strength, your calm, your healing. They can't escape the light you carry because it's not just in your words, it's in your being. Every victory you've earned, every ounce of peace you've cultivated, every boundary you've established, it all reflects back what they tried to deny. You have become the mirror of accountability they can't outrun. Romans 13:12 says, "The night is nearly over, the day is almost here. So let us put aside the deeds of darkness and put on the armor of light." That's what you've done. You've put on light, and that light has become their revelation. And yet, this isn't punishment, it's invitation. They can evolve or collapse. They can face their reflection or break under its weight. That's not your burden to carry anymore. You didn't come to expose. You came to embody truth. You didn't come to humiliate. You came to heal. And that's why the universe chose you to hold the mirror. Because only those who have faced their own shadows can bear to reflect light without flinching. Have you noticed how they can't even speak your name without faltering now? It's because your glow hurts not out of spite, but because it illuminates their shadows. You've become living evidence that transformation is real, that faith is stronger than facades, and that the meek truly do inherit the earth. Matthew 5:8 says, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God." That purity, that quiet sincerity of heart, is what sets you apart. You didn't have to prove anything, you just became it. So don't apologize for the mirror you've become. Don't shrink your light to make others comfortable in their darkness. The rot, the lies, the masks, none of that belongs to you. You simply held up the truth's reflection, and the world revealed itself. This is what it means to walk as a chosen one, to be light, even when that light unsettles the shadows. And maybe the hardest question of all, the one that sits quietly in the soul, is this: how do you love those who tried to use your reflection to hide from their own? The answer, chosen one, is simple but sacred. You love them by continuing to shine. You love them by refusing to return to smallness. You love them by standing in your truth so boldly that others find the courage to face their own. You've become a living mirror of grace, and that's something no darkness can distort. Chosen one, you inspire even your enemies. They mocked you when you were still building, but when the dust settled and your light broke through the clouds, something inside them shifted. They laughed at your process, but now they're studying your patterns in silence. It's the strange irony of divine purpose. The very ones who tried to break your spirit now borrow from your strength to rebuild their own. They used to gossip about your journey, rolling your name on their tongues like a punchline, but deep down, they were paying attention. They took notes. They observed your grace under pressure, your calm amid chaos, and your unwavering faith when everything around you screamed failure. And the cruel truth for them, you became the example they never wanted to admit they needed. They still throw shade, still whisper behind your back, pretending your rise doesn't bother them, but their actions betray their words. In the quiet, they echo your habits. They steal fragments of your courage, copy your peace, mimic your affirmations, and imitate your composure. It's almost poetic, isn't it? The same ones who once prayed for your downfall are now tracing your blueprint for survival. Proverbs 16:7 says, "When a man's ways please the Lord, He makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. They might never confess it, but your alignment with God is shifting their spirit, forcing them to face the reflection of what true transformation looks like. You've become their silent teacher, the mentor they didn't ask for but desperately need. Every time they try to mock you, conviction creeps in. Every time they roll their eyes at your confidence, a spark of envy ignites the desire to become better. It's an unspoken apprenticeship birthed from resentment. They want the light you carry, but they don't want the process that gave birth to it. They crave your peace, but not your pain. They desire your stability, but not the storms that shaped it. And isn't that how imitation always begins? In denial, then fascination, then quiet surrender. Imagine a thief mocking a builder while the foundation is being poured. Dust everywhere, bricks uneven, plans unrolled and untested. The thief sneers, believing the mess will never become a masterpiece. But then, time passes, the structure stands, the walls rise, the vision manifests. And now, the same thief who once scoffed returns under the cloak of night, not to destroy, but to learn. That's them. They mocked your building season, but they can't resist the architecture of your destiny. Isaiah 54:17 declares, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment you shall condemn." The beauty of that verse is that it doesn't just speak of protection, it speaks of transformation. Your enemy's weapons didn't prosper, but their exposure to your perseverance turned into revelation. They thought they were throwing stones. Instead, they were witnessing the construction of a temple. You've shown them that real power doesn't parade itself. It perseveres quietly, faithfully, consistently, until the world has no choice but to take notice. And perhaps you've asked yourself in a quiet moment, why can't they just respect me openly? Why pretend not to see what's obvious? Because open respect would mean confession. It would mean admitting they were wrong about you, that the one they called weak is now walking in divine authority, that the one they doubted became the proof of what faith can build. Their pride can't handle the weight of that truth, so they hide behind sarcasm and silence. Romans 12:20 reminds us, "If your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty, give him something to drink." In other words, chosen one, your response isn't to expose them, it's to keep shining. Feed them light. Offer them grace. Let your continued growth be the bread they must eat, even if it burns their pride on the way down. Real power is never in applause, it's in imitation. The world claps for what it admires in public, but it imitates what it's convicted by in private. And that's the space you now occupy in their lives. You've become the blueprint, the quiet standard, the reminder that authenticity always outlasts artifice. They wanted to compete with you, but now they're quietly learning from you. You've turned your scars into scripture, your lessons into landmarks, and your growth into a map they can't stop following. And here's the beauty of it all. You didn't rise to prove them wrong. You rose because you refused to stay small. Your victory isn't a weapon, it's a wake-up call. You're teaching the world that resilience is contagious, that healing radiates outward, that transformation cannot be confined to a single soul. Even those who cursed you are being changed by the frequency of your light. Matthew 5:44 says, "Love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you." You've done exactly that, not by words, but by walking, by becoming the living embodiment of grace under fire. And maybe one day, they'll thank you. They'll never say it aloud, but deep in their spirit, they'll know you were the mirror that saved them from themselves. Until then, let them study, let them copy, let them evolve in silence. Because imitation, no matter how prideful, is still transformation in disguise. You didn't just survive your enemies, chosen one, you inspired them. That's the mark of divine favor. You've become the sermon they can't unhear, the light they can't escape, and the lesson they didn't know they needed. And through it all, you never had to preach, you just had to be. As we come to the close of this message, chosen one, pause for a moment and let it sink in every battle you've walked through, Every silent night of pain, every tear that no one saw has not only shaped you, it has sanctified you. You are not the same person who once questioned your worth in the shadow of others' opinions. You are the evidence that faith outlasts mockery, that grace outgrows gossip, and that God's timing always turns humiliation into honor. What once broke you has now become your badge of authority in the Spirit. Those who once used your name as a punchline now speak it with quiet reverence. Not because you sought revenge, but because you embodied redemption. You've learned that true power never shouts, it stands. That's the beauty of divine reversal. The very ones who tried to use you for their ego have now become the students of your example. Your story has become their lesson, and in that, you've fulfilled your purpose. Remember this, you didn't rise to spite anyone, you rose to show what happens when someone refuses to bow to bitterness. You rose to prove that peace is louder than pride, and authenticity is more radiant than applause. Isaiah 61:3 says that God gives beauty for ashes, joy for mourning, and praise for despair. That's exactly what's happened to you. You've traded the ashes of your past for the beauty of purpose, and now your joy has become a testimony others can't ignore. But don't mistake this chapter as the ending. It's a new beginning, one written by divine hands, sealed with favor, and guided by light. As you step forward, keep your spirit anchored in truth. Keep choosing humility over validation, love over resentment, and purpose over performance. Because what God is building through you now isn't just for you, it's for every life your light will touch. You are walking proof that redemption is real, that grace multiplies, and that no amount of darkness can swallow the glow of a heart aligned with heaven. To everyone listening, if this message resonated with you, if you felt something stir deep within your spirit, let it be known. Like this video, if it spoke to your soul, share it with someone who needs to be reminded that their quiet strength is noticed by heaven. Comment below your testimony, your story, your truth, because we are not just a channel, we are a family of chosen ones walking this sacred path together. And if you feel led, you can support this mission through a super thanks, not out of obligation, but as an offering of gratitude for a message that feeds the spirit. Whether it's 1 cent or 1 blessing whispered under your breath, it all carries the same intention, to keep spreading light where the world has tried to dim it. But above all, thank you. Thank you for showing up, for listening, for being part of this space where faith meets healing and truth meets transformation. Whether you've supported this channel financially or simply by your presence, your energy, your time, it matters deeply. You are the heartbeat of this mission. Every comment, every share, every whispered prayer fuels something far greater than any algorithm ever could. And as we close today, I speak this blessing over you. May the same God who lifted you from the ashes continue to crown you with wisdom, peace, and divine favor. May your enemies find conviction through your example, and may your allies find courage through your strength. May every silent seed you've sown in tears bloom in joy. And may your path shine brighter each day until the light within you becomes impossible to ignore. This is not just another ending. This is a declaration: you are seen, you are chosen, and you are unstoppable. Until next time, keep walking in grace, keep glowing in truth, and remember, heaven is still watching, still smiling, and still writing your story. Amen.